Well, there it is. Hi guys, welcome to another reaction video. This is now a reaction channel, not quite. I do intend to create my own content at some point, but for now, this is what we're doing. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to thumbs up and help support. Speaking of which, in this case, I'm stealing content from Arcane. You can check out Arcane over at his YouTube channel. He's got 94 subscribers. You can help grow that. He seems to be quite into Warcraft 3. He's been currently making some videos and putting some good work into it. So I'm going to do a reaction video for the Naga models, and if you are okay with this, perhaps I'll come back and do a reaction to the Orc models and human models and stuff like that. He's done a comparison side by side, which is something I intended to do. I just haven't got round to it because I've been creating all the other content. But it is something I will do in my own point and at my own time. I did do a straw poll with the Twitch chat that I currently have. Should I do a reaction video to Arcane's hard work? It says 39, but it does that whenever you put like an apostrophe or something like that for some reason. So I kind of worked against myself here, but straw poll has said yes. So does that make it right? Not necessarily. You guys can vote for yourself. Thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Dislike if you don't, because I don't know whether this is crossing the line. I hope Arcane doesn't find this too offensive. If not, at least it's a little bit of exposure to the channel, which you can go subscribe to and thumbs up the video. And we're going to go take a look at the side-by-side of the Naga models. So this includes animations. So I might be pausing it from time to time here. Let's whack this volume up a little bit. So let's just pause it straight away and just take a look at the models. So you've got the Murggle slave. You can see the comparison in the portraits. I actually quite like the new portrait. They are quite zoomed in. Sorry, my throat is still ill. Not just my throat, me. Coming off of a cold, but nonetheless. He's got the sharp, pointy teeth, which you don't really see in this one. You do when it has like this facial tick animation, and it goes like that. But right now, this one looks like it's got that as a default. So it's letting you know that it's a threat. So immediately, this looks more clear, even though it is just a tad too zoomed in. They could maybe just pull back by 15%. So there's the front on front, there's the side by side, then there's the attack animation from left to right. Moving on to the Merggle Reaver. So let's pause again. Again, it's just too zoomed in. I don't know whether that's intentional, because remember, it's work in progress. This isn't the finished product. We have to wait and see. But if it is finished, could you please maybe come back and change it so it's like 15-20% further back? I actually like it zoomed in because it's really aggressive, and you can get a lot of personality just from like the eyes to the mouth. But I can barely even see the eye right now. It keeps being cut off. I love the look of the shields. Very nice. You can see the Murggle slave here is not exactly the same model as the Merggle Reaver, so he doesn't have the same model. Perhaps you should have the Reaver in the game, because that's basically the basic military unit for the Murloc, but perhaps they have the same attack animation, so we just use the same models. So now we've got the Snapdragons. Now, I had a comment saying that perhaps they were these different type of Naga units, which are the beefier ones in World of Warcraft. I can't remember the name of them. Naga Reavers or something like that, perhaps. Where they're more sort of gorilla-like, where they're up front and personally big and strong at the top end. But I don't think so. I think these are supposed to be Snapdragons. But I see where you're coming from, because there are similarities in terms of the bulkiness. However, if you look at the length, it is a little bit more stretched out. Or at least the tail part is. The tail part's quite extravagant. Nice colouring, sort of like the webbing just sort of like accentuates the elongation of the form. So that helps make up for it. Even the original is a little hunched in, as you can see. But it's basically a giant newt, isn't it? So Snapdragon first is Snapdragon, front to back. And then we'll see the attack animation. Okay. That's the same, isn't it? Because some of these obviously might be the same. They're not, although the spell effects of the debuff is definitely different. You can see here, it's more locked onto the body, whereas here it's like above the body, which makes it a little bit more obvious that this unit is being affected. You know when banshees possess something, you get a little like white crystal ball above the unit that's being possessed. It kind of reminds me of that. And it's got like a more of a sparkle kind of feel for the attack. Now we're looking at the Naga Siren. That face is very obvious though what it is, but it does look a little stretched out. These ones look a bit too realistic. This is the one thing I'm just worried is they just almost look too real and too human. Like it's yes, they're the night elves that have basically been corrupted and changed into a Naga form. But it feels like, is it that uncanny effect where you kind of put a human face over an animal or something like that? And it looks slightly too humanistic. So I would actually prefer this to be a little bit wider. Not as wide as her face is. That does look like it's way too stretched out. But the webbing is good. But I don't like the humanistic look in the face. It looks too weird. But the model itself is amazing. Like, this model is incredible. The original model's good. I love the original model. Obviously, you got to take it in account for its time. It's very obvious, the coloring, what that is, who that belongs to. It's less obvious in this, even though it's a darker time because it's done at night here in comparison to the day. Even if that was brighter, you couldn't necessarily identify that as a red player's unit as much as you can here. This is where I would prefer it to be less on the realistic side and more on the... I mean, yeah, you can have your realistic looking models, but slap on a bunch of colors. I know it might take away from this whole immersive, realistic thing that Blizzard are currently trying to go for with Warcraft 3, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I'd rather you just kept it focused on the gameplay and the identifying so players can see clearly what it is. Like, this is very obvious. This is a little more cluttered. But it's not terrible. Okay, the attack types are definitely different then. And that goes the same for the Snapdragons, thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, on first glance I thought it was the same, but it's definitely been updated, the attack. So here, you can sort of see this few little glowing effects and a very basic projectile. And here, you can see a sharper, faster attack. It just leaves off the weapon a bit too far ahead. It needs to be more connected to where the attack animation is coming from. I almost did it like a Hadouken there. Now we've got the Naga Myrmidon. Now, my boy, shaboy, the Naga Myrmidon, the best portrait in the game. Just look... I can't really zoom in much more than that. Just look at that cheeky smile. He just looks like such a cheeky chap. You know? He tells a good joke. It's dry. It's witty. There's some good humor. You don't necessarily get it straight away, but then you go, ah. And he's like, that's my boy. That's the Naga Myrmidon. Right there. Whereas this one looks freaking just scary and monstrous, which they're kind of supposed to do, but I prefer that they look more fun. I prefer fun over monstrosity. The model itself looks pretty cool, but it's not as thick, anywhere near as thick and intimidating as bulky as the original. You look at these dudes, they are bodybuilders. They don't stop working out. They swim 24/7. They never sleep. This guy, obviously he's big and bulky. He's got like the biceps to show that he's got the strength, which is good, but is nowhere near as intimidating as this huge sort of like, just this growing back that doesn't seem to stop. So let's take a look at their attack animations. This is pretty smooth, actually. Let's go back on that one. The original is very smooth. The gold trident looks gorgeous. This has got a silvery trident, which I don't dislike, but it could have a gold trident variant as well. I like the way their tentacles sort of like swing around as well, which is really cool. So that's really hypnotic to look at. Look, even the webbing is sort of like swaying back and forth. Right, now we've got the Naga Royal Guard. Okay. So, I mean, again, it's just the same portrait, and he looks cheeky, but I prefer the blue colouring. But they're just huge. These ones, at least they've got more decorative pauldrons and armour. which indicates that they are of a higher status. The weapon itself is just weird. I always felt like the original weapon, this one was actually more belonging to the Naga Royal Guard, like the more powerful looking weapon, as opposed to this one, which looks like the more basic, which I always thought was funny, because these guys are way stronger and more powerful stats-wise, but their weapon doesn't look as good as the ones that the Myrmidons carry. But let's take a look and see how it attacks. I like the portrait as well, because it is different to the original. The original looks like a skinnier version. This one looks like he's more grown out, so you know he's the more powerful equivalent. So stabbing forward and then swinging. So similar to the last deal. I'm getting my YouTube comments, don't mind me. They always seem to do that and pop up. Don't mind that. Okay. Now we've got Coral. The Coral tools. I don't know exactly how to pronounce them. Oh, they got a really cute look though. I like that. Let's zoom in here. Can I get off this bar? I don't think I can get off this bar, even being on the other monitor. Let's play that. Is he going to come off? Probably not, to be honest. Okay. Look how cute it looks. I like that. That's an actual upgrade. That's a real upgrade. That is super cute. That could be... Oh, can I get that as my portrait instead? That could replace my Naga Myrmidon. Look how cute it is. Alright, first of all, let's just take a look at the attack animation. Then... Please don't fix that. Please keep that in the game. Explosive says couatl. Yeah, they're couatls. That's the name. I mean, the projectile looks fine, to be honest. It's just the... you can't see it. The webcam... Oh! You're right. Okay, right, here we go. Thank you very much. This is where Twitch chat comes in incredibly helpful. I'll just turn off my webcam for this purpose of the portrait. Ah, damn. So that would have been the case. All right. So just go back, listen to my comments of the other characters, and I'm just going to show you the portraits of each of them then. I'm going to have to find a place to put my webcam then. Hang on a second. Sorry, you don't always realize these things until after the fact. So we put it up here. It's going to be less in the way. So there's the slimy looking zoomed in Merggle slave. There's the Merggle Reaver. Oh, you only had that problem since the coral. Oh, I'll just keep my webcam up here for now. You sure? Alright, thank you guys very much for the feedback. You were okay until you zoomed in. Oh, right. Okay, well anyway, we'll just see the Naga Myrmidon's face, because I just want to make sure I cover this. I apologise for that. That wasn't intentional, obviously. I'm not trying to be a dick. And then look how vicious that Naga Royal Guard looks in the portrait. That's scary. Like, I guess if they're going for scary, they nailed it. Because he looks horrific. Oh, yes! Please, can I have that as a plushie? You know how I liked Rexar's pig? I want that. That is super cute, isn't it? Like, seriously. He just looks like he's smiling the whole time. Please don't change that. Okay, so now we have the Sea Witch. And she looks pretty beautiful. The actual model for the Sea Witch Tavern Hero. It doesn't look much like the original face-wise. And this is where I had an issue, is the fash that they've got is like a good attempt. But the snakes and the face don't seem to quite match. The snakes are really hard to pull off, though, to be fair. So I won't be too critical with that. It's just the face. If you look at her portrait face here, which unfortunately this bar keeps getting in the way. Let me do that. If I do that, then it's not going to be in the way anywhere near as much. There we go. 200 IQ. I worked it out. So look at her face here. And then you can't really see it because I don't think there's going to be a comparison to the Lady Fash. Maybe there will be, and then I can show you. But the Lady Fash model looks too humanistic. Again, this one on the bottom left, I can kind of get behind a little bit. Although it's still got this It's got like a highborn vibe to it, so I guess it kind of works, the facial structure. But I think the webbing really helps to distract from the face itself. The way she's slithering, though, back and forth. Very good. And the shots look solid. They even look like they got a bit of an arc to them. Now, this is Lady Fash, so this is where I had the issue. The face there is way too plain. This might be completely unfinished, so take it for what it is. It might be completely unfinished. But I'm just saying, if it isn't unfinished, then that's definitely too plain. If it is, then so be it. And good luck on your work. The heads of the snakes actually look better more close up than they did from a distance. So that's not so bad, actually. It's just this face doesn't look anywhere near as kind of inquisitive and in control. She looks quite powerful here. Like, she looks like she's kind of a queen. She knows what she's doing. I get like this this queen vibe from her. Whereas this, she just kind of looks like a basic unit. The model itself in-game is fantastic. The attack's obviously off there. The arrow's coming off from the wrong direction, but that's obviously stuff to be fixed. There's the Merggle slave going to build. So we are seeing the spawning grounds being produced right now. Whether this is finished or not, we don't know. But the left obviously looks a lot smoother. I mean, those tendrils wrapping round is something else. That's very... Can I show this? I feel like a baby's being made right now. I like the rocks and the plantation on the outside. It's very, very hypnotic. Just keeps wrapping around until nearing completion. It's starting to evolve, and the rest of the stony structure just suddenly pops up out of nowhere, which looks a bit strange, but I don't know how else to do it. I'm not really an artist, so I can't really criticize. But that sort of swirling effect was gorgeous. Okay, so you don't really see this being built, the coral bed, but you do get to see the structure itself, and it's got beautiful decoration. Not over the top, but just bits and bobs here and there to let you know what it is. So, yeah, a very good recreation of the original coral bed. Here we have the Altar of the Depths. Much taller, much sort of extravagant, and it looks great. I think they focused on the orb itself being the center point rather than the burning braziers, but I don't know if they intend to put like a burning effect here. Perhaps when it's building in a hero, these start to fire up. I don't know what the animation is when a hero is produced. Looks great though. Looks really good. These buildings, these structures are so good. A lot of the buildings are really good. I've been very impressed. The Shrine of Shara, like the little steps, gives me like a Mayan feel. Almost Mayan / Aztec. You can imagine like a little sacrificial altar at the top here as you climb up and the body falls or whatnot. Here you've got a very steep sort of entrance and then the steps. So this is actually kind of an improvement in many ways. Although the original still looks really cool. Kenan Khan says, I have a Reforged beta key for you. All I need is your card number, expiration date, and security number. PM you. Okay, I'll do that after this. Temple of Tides. Very beautiful. Very gorgeous, like the pond effects, the bubbling, frothing, sort of spawning pools, so to speak. The nice orb. The original and the original models looked really good as well for their time. Like, giving off that emphasis. I like both. The Tidal Guardian. Oh! Okay. So, I don't know if this is work in progress, because I'd prefer there to be the water consistently surrounding this creature. And perhaps if it could splash up a little bit like it does here, when this creature sort of lunges out and attacks. But otherwise, really cool. I think this one on the right is more identifiable. It rises up from the ground a little bit more. It feels like it's got more of a presence than the one on the left, which feels like it's locked into the ground. Almost like some sort of I don't know, like landmine or something. But the model itself of the little snake that comes out is pretty cool. Thank you, Epox, for the sub, the Twitch Prime. Oh, work in progress. Look at the portrait. That's true. There's nothing happening in the portrait here at the bottom left. I mean, all of this is work in progress anyway. Even the stuff that is finished is still probably work in progress. And there you go. There's the Naga models. So thank you very much there to Arcane. Subscribe if you wish to do so. Look how small the text is now, just because I wanted to get that bar. Thank you very much, Arcane, for the video. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe as well to Arcane's channel and myself if you enjoy it. And maybe I'll do another one. Eventually, I'll get around to getting the beta set up so I can create my own comparison videos and do it slightly with my own style. But this was very well done from Arcane. So thank you very much, guys, and all the best. Take care.